sitting up here waiting on his final 53. Cut down for the National Football League, Washington Commanders. The information is coming up very slowly, but there have been, now I don't believe any surprise cuts. KJ Henry got cut, but people act like he's the second coming of, or would have been some second coming to Dexter Manley. I mean, in 2 years, he flashed some plays, but I didn't see the consistency, so we got to stop over evaluating these players that Ron Rivera picked. I know storylines, people get involved. The same thing with Sam Howell last year. We fall in love with players that, let's be honest, we were 4-15. I'm sorry, we were 4-13 ball club last year. 4-13. I said back then, at least 70% of this roster should be turned over. At least 70%. So it looks like it's moving towards that number. Obviously, Ron Rivera is not a talent evaluator, or not a very good one. Martin Mayhew is still in the building, so he has to get some blame for this as well, as far as these draft picks. But like I said, he didn't have the final say. He was just, he was the title GM, but Ron was making all the final decisions. So they cut Martavius Bryant, which is not surprising. The man hasn't played in the game since 2018, I believe. So maybe they'll sneak him on. He'll clear, and they'll get him on the practice squad. I don't know. They don't have any big. And I think Bryson Tremaine was cut as well. He's 6'3". So they obviously not all in on height. They don't have a problem, with a prototype, this height thing. So I still think you need a bigger body. I mean, they got Luke McCaffrey, I believe, still on the team. So I don't know. Christian Rodriguez, no surprise. He got one carry the other night. No surprise. I think the question with Christian Rodriguez is what kind of shape he's in. I think he's going to battle that his whole career, because that was a rumor. They weren't happy about his condition last year in camp, or at least mini camp. But he had a nice bounce back. He splashed a little bit. I can see him getting picked up. Maybe they put him on the practice squad. I don't know. But yeah, we get Jaret Patterson. We get caught up in these players, man. And 9 times out of 10, or more likely than not, some end up catching somewhere else. A lot of them fall by the wayside. That's just the way the NFL works. That's the business of the nature of the business. So I'm not gonna boo-hoo or cry with any player who was 4-13 last year. I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. Obviously we have our playmakers in Terry McLaurin and Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. So we still got to see what our draft picks. I mean, we just been drafting terribly, man. It's just a combination of things. The way the organization was ran with Dan Snyder. Thank God he's gone. He was just a wasted void of 24 years. It's like he did a prison sentence. But we'll see. I'm looking at all the little bloggers, and everybody's like, it's one thing about the bloggers, man. This is what I know, right? I don't consider myself a blogger. I just consider myself just a regular dude, a fan that comes on here and express my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. Sometimes I don't agree with it. But it is what it is. But a lot of them are just, they're getting information. They feel they got to be first. And God bless them. No big deal, man. I'm not going to stop a man from doing what he have to do. But a lot of it, they just, it's like copy and paste. You're reading off information that someone else reporting. I need better, I pride myself on just doing better content and just giving you something and making something out of it. You know what I mean? And just just seeing if you can, can we get a common ground or something. But like I said, with these players that was on the 4-13, like I said, I called it. I said 70% of this roster should be turned over. And it's leaning that way. It's leaning that way. I was the only one who said that on the internet. It might have been some others, but I was in chats. I was in some of your bloggers, your best bloggers on YouTube's chat saying this. You know what I mean? I was 10 toes down on it. So we'll see. Stay tuned, and then we'll see who they pick up, or someone out there that interests them at the wide receiver spot. Trade, we don't know. I'm not really. I'm not. I don't know. Ridgeway and Fedarian Mathis is an interesting case because they got Johnny Newman, who's still rehabbing from the foot surgery and stuff. So that they think they're good, but Mathis, man, I mean, what has he done? I mean, he's unfortunately he got hurt. I think his first year he was out. Second year he didn't really make no noise that I can remember. I think he's been kind of and he's a second round pick. When is it going to click on for him? I think there's another draft pick that Ron Rivera could have got maybe in the 3rd or 4th round. Man, sometimes it's. I'm not gonna whine, man. I'm just gonna look. I'm glad Adam Peters is there because we got a real GM who don't have no problem structuring reshaping a roster that's going to be, what they want it to be. Players who want energy, players who has aggression, players who are good. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how it plays out, people. Anyway, peace.